All right, what's up, everybody? Today we're gonna figure out how to make a glitch effect for OBS. All right, and we're gonna be using DaVinci 16 Resolve. Let's jump right into it. So you got your DaVinci Resolve. I'm working on the free version. All right. There are a couple different versions on DaVinci that you can get. I think there's one that you pay like 200 pounds or something, 200 pound, or euro. I don't know what it is, but then there's also the free version. I'm using the free version, and that's because I'm not making Lord of the Rings. I'm making stingers and making little projects. All right, let's open up a new project. Click here, follow my pointer. And this tutorial, if you is only for beginners, absolute beginners who have no clue how to use DaVinci. All right. So if you know how to use DaVinci and you're watching me and I'm making mistakes or doing something that could be done easier, let me know in the comments below, please. All right. Because I'm 100% noob right now, and I'm being a noob is going to help make other noobs comprehend it a little bit easier, because the other tutorials I've seen, the guys know so much already. They assume that we know what they're doing, but I have no idea. So I'm gonna go very slow. Take it real slow. I'm gonna call this 922 um, glitch. So we're gonna be making a glitch effect. All right. So the first thing I'm gonna do once I'm in DaVinci is I'm gonna come down here to the bottom of my screen and follow my pointer. Click on that, and that's your media. Now I'm gonna go to where I have my files. I'm gonna come to. Now I'm going to need three separate things for this. I'm going to need my Chroma Screen because I want transparency. I'm going to need my sound effect, which is static, and I want my my JPG or a PNG, whatever you're using. All of my resolutions here, my green screen and my image, my logo is 1280 by 720. Now, before we do anything, okay, before we do anything, let me show you all this. Come down here to the bottom right hand of your screen right over here and left click on your gear icon. Okay, now look over here and you're gonna see your timeline resolution. I'm gonna leave this at 920 by 1080. I'm not tripping on that, but everything that I'm working with is, I'm gonna export, import at 1280 by 720. I don't know how that affects things, but that's how I've been doing it. But right here is your frame rate, and that is gonna be very important for this tutorial. It is 24 frames per second, and I'm going to leave it at that. And we're going to figure out what that means here very shortly. Okay. Now, let's go ahead, come down to the bottom of the screen over here where you see this icon, and that is your edit. Left click on edit. Now, the order of this is very important. First, you bring your pink screen in, and that's going to be left click, drag and drop. Okay. Next, bring your PNG, your image, your logo in. Drag and drop and put it on top. Okay. Don't overlap it. So you're gonna have you have video one, you have video two, and you want to put your logo on top of your Chroma screen. All right, and the next thing that we're gonna bring in is static, and this static is loud. Hang on, let me see what I can do about that. I'm gonna left click on my sound file right here. Okay, left click, and I'm gonna take my volume down to about negative 30 for right now, and I'm gonna play it. So you hear that staticky sound? We're going to accompany our static with our glitch, all right? And what I did to make that static sound, I didn't even download anything. What I did was I went to LMMS, which is a a music editor software. It's free, 100% free. I used white noise and some hi-hats and just tapped my hi-hats to make that static sound. All right. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mute this static out because it's going to get annoying during the course of this. So I'm going to come over here where you see M on your audio track and click M, and that's going to mute your sound. All right, now let's jump right into it. One last thing that we need to do is come over here, left click on your image. Make sure you're on your image, and you're going to see this red border around your image. Right click, and then come up here to the top. It says new compound clip. All right, let's make a new compound clip, and I'm going to call it 922 glitch for OBS. So we're making a stinger for our OBS so that we can stream on YouTube, we can stream on Twitch, we can stream on Mixer, and we can put that in our Streamlabs or our OBS. Okay. Next thing that we're going to do right now is create the effect. So let's come over to our Colors tab down here on the bottom. Follow my picker, my pointer. Left click on the colors. Okay, we're going to open this up right here. And I don't need anything on this side of the screen, so we're good. Okay. So we have this. You're going to make sure that the border, this red border, is around your actual compound clip and not your PNG or not your Chroma Screen. And the Chroma Screen we're not even going to fuck with right now. But what we have to do is export our project as an MP4. Then we're going to import the project, and then we're going to export it as a .mov. So all the steps are very important. All right, so let's get down to number one. Let's create a glitch effect. All right, so over here we have our preview window, and we're going to come over here to our library. Now, if your library isn't open, come up here where it says Open Effects, right? Your screen's going to look like this if it's not open. Come over to Open Effects, open it up, and you should see your library. All right. Now we're going to come down to Stylize here in this. We're going to come down to Stylize, and we're going to come to JPEG Damage. Okay. Left click on JPEG Damage and drag it and drop and point right next to where you see the number 1. Okay, so now we have our JPEG Damage in this particular timeline area, and it's an effect that's going to glitch out this image. Okay, now I need you to come over here to the right-hand side, and I need you to take a look at this. You have your quality, resolution, block aspect ratio. Don't worry about any of that. Just look at your resolution. That's all we need for this particular tutorial. Now I'm going to go ahead and preview and see what it looks like. Doesn't look like much of anything right now. Okay, now I want you to be aware of these numbers before we even get started. If you look up here, you see where my pointer is. We're at 24 frames per second. So that means that when I come over to the 1 second mark, we're now in frame 25. When I come over to the 2 second mark, we're now in frame, what is it? 36 or so, I don't know. But it's 40, 24, 48, so I'm over at 48 now. Okay, so whatever, it's 24 creates our single numbers. So if I come over here where it says 123, that means it's 1 second, 23 frames. Now, if I come over on my keyboard and take my arrow to the right once, it's going to go over to 2 because it's now 2 seconds, which is 48 frames. All right. Now, that's very important for what we're going to do right now. We're going to come all the way over to the first frame right over here to where it says 0, and we're going to take our resolution. We're going to leave our resolution there at 1. Now I'm going to click on that, this little red button right over here. I'm going to click on it. Now I'm going to come to frame 1 or second 1. And now I'm going to come to resolution. I'm going to click on 1 right now. Okay. And that means that I want that JPEG damage to not do anything for this entire second. Okay, I want my image to stay cool for one second. Right after that happens, I'm gonna take my uh, this little red control thing right over here and move it over one, and I'm gonna use my arrow key on my keyboard. So now that I've moved it over one, I'm gonna jack my resolution up to 15. Okay, we're gonna have two glitches in this tutorial. There's gonna be one at 2 seconds, and there's gonna be another one at excuse me, there's gonna be 1 second and another one at 2 seconds. Okay, so right now we have our resolution up to somewhere around 15, if you see over here. Now we're gonna come over to now we're gonna glitch it for about 5 frames. So use your right arrow key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna glitch it for 5 frames. Now we're gonna come here to resolution, and let's go ahead and glitch it 6. 6. Now we're gonna come over here to resolution, bring it all the way down to 1. Okay. Now we're gonna come over to second 2, so it's gonna glitch twice. All right. Now take your pointer and just click up here beside second number 2. All right. Take your arrow and move 1 frame over to your left. Okay. Keep your resolution at 1, and to lock it in at 1, we're going to hit this we're going to light up this red lamp here beside the 1. Now on your keyboard, go right 1. Okay. Now we're going to jack up our resolution to 30. Jack it up to 30. And now we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right. Let's go 7 this time. 7 to the right. And we're going to jack our resolution back down to 1. Okay. And then just take your cursor to the right. Now that's that. Now take a look. Follow my pointer right here. Take a look. What happens is, whenever you see this double diamond here, that means that your glitch is about to start. Because right now you have no effect. And then that second diamond over here, you have this effect. And now you come back to no effect. And then this second diamond here means you will have an effect. So it's going to glitch 2 times. It's going to glitch on the first second and on the second second. Now let's take a look and see what happens. I'm going to hit play, let it render. Glitch, glitch. Good. So that's how we create the glitch effect using DaVinci Resolve. But we can actually do something a little bit better with that. All right, and this is going to get a little bit more complicated. So follow along if you want to. Follow along if you want to. Okay, right click in this gray area over here. All right, and we're going to add a node. And you're going to come over and add a corrector node. So go ahead and add that. Now line up this line over here. So line up your green to green right here. Your green to green to green. And you come over to the little button here, left click, and just drag your line. And make sure everything's connecting no matter how you move it around. Okay. So first we have our JPEG damage. Now we're going to come down over here in our library. We're going to select another effect. Now we're going to select Prism Blur. All right. Left click Prism Blur, and put it over here where you see the number 2. Great. Now this window is going to open up. Okay. Now the thing about all of these effects is, as soon as you put them in, they default on an effect, which means that if you don't want the effect, you have to take everything down and zero it out. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start at this first frame right here, and we're going to zero out everything. Everything here is going to be zeroed out. Now come down to the blend right here, and you want to max out your blend. Max it up to bring your color back, because if you notice, after you zero everything out, it's really dark. So bring your blend up. But everything else, you're going to max down. All right, you're going to zero everything out. After you've zeroed everything out, light up all your lamps beside these zeros. Okay, that's going to lock it in place. All right, so now all our lamps lit up. We already have a guide, okay? Now, if you look down here, we already have a guide. We already know what we're gonna do. Whenever you see that double diamond, it means the glitch is about to start. Whenever you see the single diamond, it means the glitch is ending. Whenever you see this double diamond, the glitch is gonna start. Whenever you see the single diamond, the glitch is ending. And the glitch is gonna start on the second set of double diamonds, okay? So not this first one right here, but it's gonna start on second one, all right? Which is gonna be your frame, I think 25. All right, or frame 24. I'm not sure how that works. Um, so let's come over here. Bring your pointer over here to number one. Right. We want to keep this at 0. We don't want anything to happen right now for the beginning of this clip. So we're going to light up our lamps, all of them. We're going to lock that in place, and we're locking our no effect in place right now. Now we're going to come over one. You're going to hit your right arrow key on your keyboard. Come over one. And now we are going to, I'm gonna keep my blend whatever maxed out. Let's come to blur strength and just, this is arbitrary right here. You got your X position, your Y position, aberration distance. Aberration strength is probably the biggest thing that you're gonna worry about. Um, I don't mess with vignette size. I don't mess with vignette sharpness. But yeah, so we'll just keep the settings like that, right? And now we're going to come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like we did before, and we already have our marks established. So you can add other effects as long as you first do that mark with your JPEG damage. All right, now I'm gonna come over to zero it out, zero out everything. And when you're moving it around, you're gonna see your lamps automatically light up now that you've made your changes, okay? And yeah, I'm gonna leave everything just like that. Now I'm gonna come over here, and yet again, we want everything to stay 0 over here as well. So now we're gonna light up our lamps, just to lock that in place so that it stays at 0, right? Now we're gonna come over one frame over to the right. So we're going to hit our right arrow key on our keyboard. Now we're going to take our aberration strength all the way up, just jack it. Blur strength, random, just do some random stuff because it's going to be a glitch anyway, so it doesn't really matter, right? But I want that aberration strength just maxed out. Okay. Now I'm going to come over 1, 2, 3, right there in the center of those frames, roughly around here. And I'm going to take my aberration strength down, and then I'm going to come over to the very end. Where's my camera? To the very end over here, where you have the single little diamonds, and then we're going to go ahead and bring everything down to 0. All right. And keep the blend at 1. And then go right a couple times just to see that you locked everything in. Okay, so check it out. This is our glitch effect. All right. It's a little bit meticulous, but once you know exactly what you're trying to do, because I can look at this right now, I can look at my screen and tell you it's going to be normal at 1 second, it's going to glitch. It's going to be normal again at 2 seconds, it's going to glitch, and then it's just going to ride out normally. All right, so let's check it out. I'm going to take my little white slider over here underneath my project all the way to the beginning and hit play. So we glitched twice right there. Okay, so that's good. That's exactly what we wanted. Now let's come over to the Edit tab. All right, we're going to come here to the Edit tab. Check it out. There's another effect you can add. It's called Camera Shake, but that's that would make this like a 15-minute longer than it's going to be. So, but once you know how to do the JPEG and the Prism Blur, do the same thing with the Camera Shake. All right, it's the same process. All right, now let's come over to Edit tab down here on the bottom, and let's preview this in the Edit tab. Glitch, Okay. In the edit tab, it doesn't want to render the way I want it to render, but that's not a big deal. So what we're going to do is come over to about 2 seconds. I think it's going to be somewhere around 2 seconds, 21 frames, 2 seconds. Let's go to 2 seconds and 20 frames. All right. Let's just shorten it because stingers are really short generally because it's just a small scene transition. All right. So I'm going to go back to my colors window, my colors tab, and I want to preview it. I just want to see how long it lasts. And I want to make sure both of my glitches are in there. All right, so let's check it out. Preview, glitch, glitch. Okay. Let me preview it again and find out exactly where that glitch occurs. Glitch, glitch. And that's at 2 seconds and 5 frames. All right. And this ends at 2 seconds and 8 frames. All right, so let's come back to the edit. And we're going to end it at 2 seconds and 8 frames. And where you're going to see that number is right over here. You see where it says 2 seconds and 6 frames? Let's take it over 2 seconds and 10 frames. Let's just do that. All right. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to shorten our green screen. And now we're going to add the sound effect. Okay? We're going to add a sound effect. And that's why I want to export this as an MP4. And that's why I wanted to create an MP4 before I actually made my .mov, because this is where you add your sound. All right. Let's go ahead and uh, we're going to come to the first second because we know that we start glitching on second one because we manually typed that in. So we already know it's going to start glitching on second one. Right over here on your keyboard, use your right arrow key and you see where it began to glitch. Come down here to your audio and start your audio right there where you see the glitch. Now come over using your right arrow key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where it becomes normal again, come up here right underneath your stop button and use your razor tool, right? Your blade edit. Left click on your blade edit, okay? Come right here just to the right of the red line. Left click, and you just now cut that sound out. I'm just going to come back here to my picking tool right now. Left click on my picking tool. Left click on the rest of this audio we just cut off here. Now I'm going to come over to second 2. Right? Let's come over to second 2. Right here. So we're here at second 2. If I click to the left with my right arrow key or my arrow key, okay. So we're roughly at 1 second, 22 frames. But I wanted to glitch exactly when we get that first glitch frame. All right. Now I'm going to butt this up against it, right? And next thing I'm going to do is click my right arrow key until the glitching stops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the glitching is going to stop right there. We'll let the sound effects go a little bit longer. And I'm just going to shorten it, shorten my audio. And I don't know what just happened there. Hang on a second. Let me unmute my track and see if I have any noise there. Yeah, I made a boo-boo. I made a boo-boo. Let me come to static. Just pull in another one. Because I actually cut off part I'm going to use. Move this. We're going to delete this one. And that's a right click and a delete from your drop down. And just add in this static right here. And what I want to do on this static wave right here is right click on it, right? Come over to my volume, actually. I want to left click on it, come over to my volume, and remember how we made it -20? We're going to have to do the same thing since we had to add in a new clip. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of this value. We're going to make it -20 now. And click OK. And let me check this value. This value is at negative 18.61. So that's cool. And I'm going to take this down a little bit more. And I want to have this one just a little bit louder. Okay, good. So now we've synced up our audio with our now we've synced up our audio with our glitch image, right? So let's check this out. Gonna unmute that track and hit play. All right, and that looks like it's not working correctly, but it is. It doesn't render well in my edit tab. So let's take it over to my the color tab is usually very accurate. So let's check out the color tab and hit play. All right, you see how that works? So now we have created that glitch effect. So we used JPEG damage, prism blur, and then we just brought in some sound effect that syncs up with that staticky, jittery vibe that we have there. All right, so that's good. That's step one. Now let's go over to our edit tab. Make sure all our ducks are in a row here. And now we're going to come to the bottom right over here, and we're going to hit deliver. All right. Now we want to export this as an MP4. That is very crucial, because when you go to select how you're going to send your sound, you just say same as source, because it's all going to be together. You don't have to worry about different channels. You don't have to worry about anything. Just say same as source and you're done with it. That's why we've done this process here. Okay. So we have our file name, and I'm going to call it Psycho Glitch. (922). All right, today's the 22nd of September. Location, we're going to send it to my desktop. I've created a file specifically for this. Open. Save. Okay, so we're not out of the woods just yet. First, we're going to render it as a single clip. Okay, very important. We're going to export video. The format's going to be MP4. The codec is going to be H.264. My resolution, like I said, all my resolution is a 1280-720. Okay. Everything else I just leave the same. Everything else I leave to factory. Now we're going to come over here to audio, and I leave everything exactly as it is in audio. And I think that's it. So we're going to come over here where it says add to render queue, right? And left click on add to render queue, and then come over here on the far right hand side where it says start render, and let's start render. Now you can't see it on my screen here that I've created for OBS, but down here you're going to see, if you look at your DaVinci, if you look at your DaVinci logo down here, your icon, it's going to let you know how far it's rendering, all right, and when it's finished. So I've just finished rendering. It's like a 2-second clip. It doesn't take long. Now I'm going to X out of it, and I'm going to hit save. Now let's open up DaVinci again, and we're going to start a new project. And the new project we're going to export as a .mov as opposed to an MP4. If you try to export it as an MP4, you're not going to get transparency, is the reason why we have to do this. It doesn't give you an option to send an alpha channel. You just don't have that option. All right, so we're going to start a new project. I'm going to call it 922 Transparency. 922 Glitch Transparency. Okay, and we're going to hit create. Well, we're back in DaVinci Resolve again. Let me have a sip of some whiskey here. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is come down to our media tab down here. Follow my cursor. Left click on that. Okay, now we're going to go to where we just exported our MP4, Sunday Psycho, and it should be, hopefully it's this, Untitled Psycho. I pretty sure I named it, but maybe not. It says glitch 922 MP4. There we go. Rock and roll. Okay, so that's all we need right now. We just need that MP4 in here. Now let's come over to our edit tab, click on your edit tab, and we're gonna left click, drag and drop into our timeline. All right, so far so good. Now let's hit play, and we're gonna just preview it. Very good. So we have our stinger. Now we're gonna make it transparent. Okay. So what we're gonna do next is come over to our color tab, follow my pointer, left click on colors. Okay. Um, the first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to create an alpha output. Come over here where you have your preview window. Right click. Okay. We're gonna add alpha output. That is the most important thing. That is the reason why we're here in the first place, because we want to have transparency when we have a scene transition, because it just looks cooler, you know, when you make that transition and you can see behind the stinger as opposed to the stinger taking up the whole screen, right? It just looks cool. I think it looks cooler. All right. So we've created our alpha output. You're going to connect this blue dot. Hang on a sec. You're going to connect this blue box here to this blue dot over here, all right, on the right-hand side. Now, we're going to come over here. This is your qualifier tool, right? Make sure that's enabled. Next, you're going to come to your selection range, and you're going to come to your color picker. Make sure that's enabled. And you're going to come in here, and you're going to left-click. Now, if you notice, what happened is we picked that pink color, and we made everything else transparent. So if you look over in this box right here, everything that's gray is see-through. And if you look over here, everything that's black is see-through, right? It's not black, it's actually transparent. All right, so what we're gonna do is come over here to selection range. And over here on the far right-hand side on the top row, you're gonna click invert. So now we've made that pink transparent and we've made the image visible. All right, we still have some pink up in here. All right, so let's go in a little bit. You're gonna take your mouse button, your mouse, and toggle with the center. And we're gonna come here and we're gonna see these little shades of pink in here. Can you see it? There's still a little bit of that border. And we might get lucky, we might not. I'm not gonna fiddle with it too long. But you come over here to your color picker with your plus tool, with your picker tool, and let's just click on an area of pink that we want to go away. And I'm going to hit Control Z because that didn't do what I wanted it to. And also you're going to hit your Control and up and down. You toggle to go up and down, and then you release Control to go in and out. All right, so you hit Control, and then you can go up and down. And then if you take your finger off of Control, you just go in and out. All right. This is for newbies, 100% for newbies here. Okay, let's preview it. Let me bring it back over here, bring my slider back to the beginning and hit play. Let it render. Cool. So that's what we want to see right there. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to export it. We have a stinger right now. It's done. All right. Rock and roll. Let's come over here to the edit tab. Let's preview it. All right. Now we're going to go to export. Now everything is going to change right now. All right. Everything is going to change because we need to export that alpha channel. So we're going to call this 922 glitch for OBS. All right. Location, we're going to take it to our desktop. "922 glitch for OBS." Lovely. Save it. All right, so we're going to come over here to render. And we're going to render as individual clips. Okay. Um, we're going to export video. The format is going to be QuickTime. The codec is going to be GoPro Cineform. All right. The type. Now, if you notice here, the type, right? And if you notice down here, the rest of this window, there is no option to export it as an alpha channel. You have to be very specific right here. And that's why we can't do it as an MP4 because there's simply no option. But if you come over here to type and you hit RGB 16-bit, now we have an option to export alpha. All right, let me show you. When you hit 10-bit, there's no option down here. You just can't do it. It won't let you do it, right? So 16-bit, now we can enable export alpha. We're good. We're good. All right. So we're at pre-multiplied and quality is the best. Very good. Now we're going to come over to add to render queue, right? Now we're going to hit start render. And then look on the bottom of your screen and see the progress of your render. All right, my rendering is done. I'm going to X out of DaVinci. I'm going to save my project, of course, because sometimes you have a problem with renders, and you might have to come back to your project again and re-render it. Not a big deal. And now what we're going to do is come over here to OBS, right? Let's check this out. So now we're in OBS. And I want to add a new stinger. So I'm going to come over here to this plus icon over here under scene transitions, where you see scene transitions. Add. We're going to add a stinger. We're going to call it, what are we going to call this bad boy? 922 Psycho Glitch. Okay, and we're going to hit OK. We're going to browse our video files. We're going to go to our desktop, wherever we have our folder, Sunday Psycho Dissolve, and 922 Glitch for OBS, which we just created right now. Open it up. And you want to come over here. Actually, let me cancel that because I did all of that off screen, I think. Hang on, let me cancel that. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of Psycho Glitch. And yes, I want to remove it. Let's add it again. I'm going to come over here, hit my plus icon. I'm going to go to Stinger. I'm going to say 922 Psycho Glitch. And I'm going to hit OK. Now, if you guys notice, I had to block off. I didn't want those multiple screens. So this is what we got right here. Okay, so it's going to say video file, right? You're going to browse. You're going to pick your whatever file you just opened up. You're going to go find it somewhere on your desktop or wherever you put it. Now you're going to come here and you're going to click monitor. This is your audio. So you want monitor and output, right? And then you're going to hit OK. So now you have that Psycho Glitch right now as a stinger, right? Let's take a look. So every time you do a scene transition, you're going to get that. And you can make other scene transitions and have fun with it. All right, so I hope this makes your life a little bit easier. I'll see you next time. Peace.